At first glance, Cape Verde and Singapore seem worlds apart. One is a small African archipelago in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. The other is a hyper-modern city-state in Southeast Asia. But what if I told you that Cape Verde has the potential to become the Singapore of Africa? In this video, we'll dive into that fascinating idea, combining history, geopolitics, and macroeconomic strategy to explore how a small island nation might transform into an economic powerhouse. Cape Verde is made up of 10 volcanic islands, located about 570 kilometers off the West African coast. Colonized by Portugal in the 15th century, it served for centuries as a trading post in the Atlantic slave route. After gaining independence in 1975, the country faced enormous challenges: arid land, lack of natural resources, and a strong dependency on imports. However, it also inherited some strategic advantages: a relatively stable political culture, solid democratic institutions, and a prime geographic location, right between Europe, the Americas, and mainland Africa. Singapore, on the other hand, gained its independence in 1965 under very difficult conditions. It was a small, resource-poor territory surrounded by uncertainty in a fragile region. But under the leadership of Lee Kuan Yew, Singapore made a series of bold and long-term decisions. It invested heavily in education, built world-class infrastructure, and opened up to foreign direct investment. In just a few decades, it went from a struggling post-colonial state to one of the world's most advanced economies, a global hub for finance, logistics, and technology. This is where the comparison starts to gain traction. Both countries are small in size and population, with limited natural resources. Both recognize political stability as a key asset, and both hold strategic geographic positions in global trade routes. Singapore sits on the Strait of Malacca, one of the busiest shipping lanes in the world, while Cape Verde lies at the crossroads between three continents, with potential to serve as a logistical hub for the Atlantic region. That said, there are key differences. Singapore has built a highly skilled workforce, state-of-the-art infrastructure, and an efficient regulatory framework that attracts multinationals. Cape Verde, while progressing, still depends heavily on tourism, diaspora remittances, and international aid. Infrastructure development is ongoing, and technical expertise remains limited. Yet Singapore's model offers valuable lessons. It focused on sectors where it could be globally competitive despite its small size. Cape Verde could adopt a similar approach, specializing in digital services, green finance, or the blue economy. The establishment of special economic zones, like the one in São Vicente, already reflects a move toward diversification. Moreover, the country is investing in ICT and slowly emerging as a small digital innovation hub in West Africa. So can Cape Verde realistically follow Singapore's path? The short answer is partially yes, but it requires vision and strategic investment in core areas. First, education. There's a pressing need to train a new generation of technical professionals in fields like engineering, IT, and management. Second, logistics. The country needs modern ports, airports, and digital infrastructure to attract global business. And third, a predictable and transparent legal environment is essential, one that favors entrepreneurship, innovation, and foreign investment. Cape Verde also has a unique asset: its diaspora. Present across Europe and the United States, the Cape Verdean diaspora represents a powerful bridge, not just for remittances, but for knowledge transfer, political influence, and international partnerships. If mobilized strategically, it could play a similar role to the Chinese diaspora's contribution to Southeast Asia's growth. From a geopolitical perspective, Cape Verde could position itself as a safe and stable entry point for businesses looking to engage with Africa. But from a more structured and reliable environment, it could become a regional laboratory for digital governance, sustainable finance, and climate innovation. Of course, the path ahead is not without challenges. The domestic market is small, external dependence is high, and physical distance remains a logistical hurdle. But if the country defines a clear vision and builds strong strategic alliances, nothing prevents Cape Verde from becoming a micro-regional power, not by competing with larger African nations, but by complementing them through specialization. In the end, Cape Verde doesn't need to copy Singapore, but it can, and perhaps should, be inspired by it. The key lies in adapting the principles of long-term planning, investment in human capital, and intelligent global positioning to the local context. So, what do you think? Can Cape Verde become the Singapore of Africa? Or is it just a nice-sounding dream, disconnected from reality? Share your thoughts in the comments, send this video to someone who cares about Africa's future, and don't forget to subscribe for more content on geopolitics, history, and macroeconomics.